My very first guitar amp was a little small Fender combo, like I think it's Sidekick 15. I actually still own it. I'm a gear hoarder. I never get rid of anything, so I have almost every single piece of gear I've ever bought in my whole life. I had an older brother, and a lot of his friends were in bands, and I'd go watch him play, and every guitar player, I mean, it was the 80s, so it was a lot of heavy metal, and no heavy metal. I guess it was because I was into heavy metal, and heavy metal guitar players all used stacks. No one used a combo amp, except Ted Nugent. But I wasn't into Ted Nugent. When I auditioned for the Pumpkins in LA, I was going to graduate school for comparative literature, so I wasn't playing in my local band anymore. I was kind of just not really doing a lot of music. And it wasn't one audition, it wasn't just one day, it was over a period of months of playing, getting to know them, play a couple songs, hang out, come back next week, play a few more songs. And so I didn't really have a proper amp, so actually a good friend of mine let me borrow his Marshall head and cabinet. But I didn't have anything. So the first rehearsal, I got the gig, we're gonna go on tour, I show up to Chicago. I mean, it wasn't just, there was like 2 Diesels, Bogner amps, Les Pauls. I'd never played a Les Paul. So I was just thrown into this. I mean, it was crazy. Billy likes a really kind of bass-heavy, scooped mid sound, really high gain, and so I started looking for kind of a more classic hard rock kind of sound with less bass, a little more mid to kind of fill in where he was scooped. We started finding that actually worked out really well. And then over the years, I've gone from everything. I've had full-on 3-channel heads, 4-channel preamps, the whole thing. And nowadays, I've actually gone to just using a single-channel vintage heads with just one sound. And I do everything with a few pedals and the volume knob. So it's been a crazy journey to get to where a lot of players that I grew up listening to that's what they did. And I always thought, like, man, that must have sucked because you could have everything. But having everything is almost kind of a fantasy that never really works in terms of guitar sound. And you realize why a lot of the greats, Eddie Van Halen, David Gilmour, they have kind of very few things that they actually really utilize. The edges of the world where they have kind of everything, I think they're kind of actually more the anomalies, and that's why he's so wonderful and so great, and I love him too. But when you really think about the history of guitar players, even Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, it's, when they play live, it's very simple because getting one great sound is better than having 5 average sounds.